When I tell people I saved 80% of my income, they usually think I'm rich, super frugal, or just lying. The truth? I'm a regular person with a normal job in tech, no lottery wins, and no secret inheritance. I didn't live off ramen noodles or sleep on a couch. I just decided to live differently, on purpose. It all started when I got a bonus at work. I spent it within 2 months and couldn't even remember what I bought. That moment hit me hard. I was working hard, earning well, but still feeling broke. So I made a plan. I would flip the script. Instead of spending 80% of my paycheck, I'd try saving it. This choice changed my life, not just my bank account. It taught me powerful lessons about money, freedom, and happiness that most people never learn. Here's what really happens when you save like this. Number 1. Why I decided to save 80%. The financial wake-up call, my 29-year-old crisis. At 29, I thought I was doing everything right. I had a good job, a decent apartment, and enough money to enjoy life. I ordered food whenever I wanted, bought the latest phone, and even took short trips on weekends. But one day, something strange happened. I got a $5,000 bonus at work, and 2 months later it was gone. I had nothing to show for it. No savings. No peace of mind. That was my wake-up call. I looked at my spending and realized I wasn't broke because of my income. I was broke because of my choices. My money was leaking away through small daily habits I didn't even notice. I read a study that said 63% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, even people earning 6 figures. That hit me. The problem wasn't money. The problem was behavior. So I made a decision. What if I saved 80% of my income? Not to punish myself, but to take back control. I wanted to stop depending on every paycheck. I wanted to buy something better than stuff. I wanted freedom. Most people think saving is about cutting back, but for me, it became about leveling up. I wasn't trying to live cheap. I was trying to live smart, and saving 80% was the first step. Number 2, the strategy that made it possible, the anti-budget budget. How I tricked myself into wealth. Saving 80% of your income sounds impossible, right? That's what I thought too. But I didn't get there by tracking every dollar or cutting out all fun. I used a simple trick. I made it hard to spend money in the first place. Here's how it worked. Every time I got paid, I set up an automatic transfer. 80% of my paycheck went straight into a savings account and investment account before I even saw it. The other 20% stayed in my checking account for bills, groceries, and anything else. If the money wasn't in my checking account, I couldn't spend it. I call this my anti-budget. No spreadsheets, no stress, just one smart system. To make this work, I had to lower my living costs, but not in a miserable way. I house hacked by renting out 2 rooms in a small home I bought. That made my housing costs almost zero. I bought a used, fuel-efficient car instead of a new one. I cooked most of my meals at home, but still enjoyed eating out once a week. It was about balance, not sacrifice. I called this my compression lifestyle. I lived like I earned only 20% of what I actually made just for a while, so I could grow my money fast. The truth is, I didn't feel poor. I felt powerful. Saving money wasn't about being cheap. It was about building something bigger than what I could buy today. I was creating space to breathe, to think, and to plan for a future I actually wanted. Number 3, psychological side effects no one talks about. Saving 80% changed my brain chemistry. Something strange happened after a few months of saving 80% of my income. I started to feel different, not just richer, but calmer. At first, I thought I'd miss the spending. I used to get little bursts of excitement when I ordered things online, went out for dinner, or bought something new. But after cutting back, I noticed something. Those quick moments of happiness didn't last. Without all the spending, my brain started to reset. I felt more in control and less stressed. This is called a dopamine detox. Dopamine is a chemical in your brain that makes you feel good. Spending money gives you a quick hit of it, but it fades fast. When I stopped chasing that feeling, my real happiness started to grow. I didn't need constant shopping to feel okay. I also stopped comparing myself to others. I wasn't trying to keep up with expensive clothes, gadgets, or vacations anymore. I realized most of that was just noise. The biggest change? I stopped feeling afraid. I knew I had money saved, and that gave me mental freedom. I wasn't worried about losing my job or paying bills. I slept better. I thought clearer. Saving money didn't just grow my bank account. It changed the way I saw the world. Number 4. What I invested in and why it worked. Where that 80% went, and how it's working for me now. Saving 80% of my income was only half the story. The other half, investing it wisely. I didn't just let my money sit in a savings account. I wanted it to grow and work for me, even while I slept. So, I created a simple plan that felt safe but also had room to grow. 50% went into index funds, like VTI and QQQ. These are baskets of top companies, so instead of picking stocks, I invested in the whole market. In 2023, the S&P 500 went up over 20%. My money grew fast, without me doing much. 20% went into high-yield savings and I-bonds. This was my safety net, money I could grab in an emergency, earning more interest than a regular bank. 20% went into real estate. I bought a rental house in a smaller city with low prices but steady rent. After the mortgage and repairs, I still made money every month. That rent became another income stream. 10% went into bold bets like AI and tech ETFs and a private REIT. These were riskier, but I kept the amount small. I called this mix my peace portfolio. It gave me growth, safety, and income all at once. The best part? Every dollar I invested felt like buying back a little more freedom. I wasn't just saving money for one day. I was building a life where money worked for me, not the other way around. That's how saving turned into wealth, and wealth turned into peace of mind. Number 5. What I gave up and why IT didn't matter. You can't miss what you redefine. People always ask me, what did you have to give up to save 80%? The truth is, I gave up a lot of little things, but I didn't miss them, because I found better things in return. I stopped buying things just to feel good for a moment. I gave up impulse shopping and daily takeout. I also skipped out on expensive weekend trips and late-night food delivery. But here's what I didn't give up: joy, fun, and connection. I still went out with friends, but I chose quality time over expensive places. I made coffee at home. I cooked more, learned new recipes, and felt better physically and mentally. I took slower, deeper trips instead of quick getaways. This mindset shift is something I call substitute hedonics, finding cheaper or simpler versions of what actually brings happiness. In the end, what I gave up were things I thought mattered, until I learned they didn't. And what I gained was a life that finally felt like mine. Number 6. The unseen upside: career freedom. When you don't need the job, everything changes. One of the biggest surprises of saving 80% was how much it changed my career. In a good way. After a few months of saving and investing, I had built up enough money to cover my basic living expenses for over a year. Suddenly, I didn't feel trapped by my job. I still worked hard, but I stopped being afraid. I knew that if things ever got bad, I could walk away and be okay. This gave me real power at work. I spoke up more in meetings. I asked for a raise, and I actually meant it when I said I'd leave if I didn't get it. And guess what? I got the raise. Some people call this FU money. The freedom to say no when something doesn't feel right. But here's the secret: you don't need to be a millionaire to have it. You just need a savings runway. A CNBC report showed that people with 12 months of savings were 40% more likely to take career risks, like starting a side hustle or switching jobs. I saw that happen in my own life. The moment you stop living paycheck to paycheck, your job becomes a choice, not a trap. That's the real value of saving big. It gives you career freedom, and that's priceless. I used to think financial freedom meant having millions in the bank, but now I know it's about having options. When you save more, you get to choose how you spend your time, who you work with, and what kind of life you build. Most people get it wrong. They think saving means suffering. They imagine boring meals, no fun, and missing out. But when you save with purpose, you don't feel poor, you feel powerful. You don't cut out joy, you cut out noise. You don't need to save 80% to change your life. You can start with 10%, then 20%, and keep growing from there. What matters most is why you're saving. For me, it wasn't about money. It was about control, peace, and choice. If you're feeling stuck or stressed about money, ask yourself this: what percentage of my income is actually building the life I want? That one question changed everything for me, and it might do the same for you. Now, if you want to learn how to achieve financial success, then watch this video next. If you made it to this point in the video, Please like and subscribe to the channel to see more content like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.